I personally have been subject to all sorts of attacks, from nasty letters and emails, making thinly veiled threats against my safety, against my life, making thinly veiled threats to my family. I have received letters in the mail that in one case contained a white powder that I had to actually report to the FBI. They had to come to my office and investigate this and send this off to a lab to make sure that it wasn't anthrax or some very dangerous substance that my entire department would have been subject to because of this. I have been called every name in the book. I have had industry-funded front groups try to pressure my university to fire me. I have had very powerful politicians, senators, and committee chairs in the House of Representatives lead what leading newspapers like the Washington Post and the New York Times called a witch hunt, aimed directly at me, demanding all of my personal emails so that they could comb through them and try to find something to attack me with, to discredit me with. I had a run-in with the Attorney General, the previous Attorney General of Virginia, who was what's sometimes called a Tea Party Republican, an extremely conservative Republican who had was driven by a fairly radical ideology. He tried to use a civil subpoena, which is something that is available to the Attorney General to deal with Medicare fraud. And he argued that it was perfectly appropriate for him to use this to demand all of my personal emails from the time that I was at the University of Virginia because I was working on the science of climate change, and he considered that to be fraudulent. Well, it was shot down by the courts, first the lower court. He appealed it to the state Supreme Court, which rejected the case with prejudice, meaning they really never want to see an Attorney General come to them with something like this again. So in each of these cases, in the end, I've prevailed in these battles, but it takes a lot of time and effort and legal support, and I think that's the intent. I think the intent is to distract me, to keep me busy dealing with these various other issues and challenges so that I'm not able to do the science that I love doing, so that I'm not able to be out there communicating the science and its implications to the public. Fortunately, I've found a way to do those things while still sort of dealing with these additional challenges that I face at the center of this campaign to discredit me as a means of discrediting the science of climate change. A very cynical campaign, I might add.